Are you serious? Meteorites, fireballs, asteroids. Yes, I know. The comet Ison's on its way. But have you guys know I've been saying this for months. That we don't know what's ahead of this thing, let alone this trail, which is millions of miles long behind it. But there was a fireball seen in the sky Wednesday night out in Southern California, San Diego, all over. Matter of fact, here's a quick report by NBC News.
This was actually a fireball. It was certainly far-reaching. We first heard about it from you, our viewers, around 8 o'clock tonight, from all over Southern California, thanks in part to the clear skies that we have this evening. Now, fortunately, there were no reports of any injuries. No one had to duck, but no joke here, Chuck and Colleen. This comes on the very same day that NASA scientists say a meteor hitting our planet is 4 or 5 times more likely than they ever anticipated.
What? Are you serious? And didn't we also get a warning about that from Brian Williams of NBC News?
We'll remind you as the date gets closer so you can stock up on snacks and beverages, but a comet is coming. A big and brilliant comet arriving in November 2013. It could potentially be 15 times brighter than the moon and visible in broad daylight over the U.S. We will be your Comet Network, and we'll keep you updated.
Now, realizing that's the situation developing, and people, what are you going to do? They are happening. Let me give you some more information that the Russian fireball fallout is bringing forth. Huge asteroid numbers are raising the stakes of an impact with Earth. The number of asteroids zooming close to Earth is far greater than previously believed, highlighting the need to ramp up efforts to find and track these potentially dangerous space rocks. Experts are saying a new analysis of the Russian meteor explosion, and you remember that happened earlier this year, that injured over 1,000 people in Russia back in February of this year, 2013. Estimates that similar impacts occur about 7 times more often than previously thought. That means there could be more than 20 million near-Earth asteroids, roughly 62 feet wide, the size of these objects that hit in Russia, rather than 3 or 4 million, as scientists have been telling us in the past. It has attracted more attention since the one that hit Russia. And of course, Lindley Johnson, the program executive for NASA's Near-Earth Object Observatory. Come on, Paul! Get it right! Observations! What? This thing's getting serious, folks. What we're hearing here, we know the comet Ison. The comet Ison's not going to hit the Earth unless it explodes as it's coming up on the sun and goes to whip around the sun, and instead of whipping around the sun, it blows up and it's got a ton of debris and it flings it toward the Earth. And I asked a scientist on my show yesterday, Jesse, I asked him, could that happen? He said, yeah. But we don't know. I mean, we don't know. That's why we don't know. But he said, I've been watching comets since 1969. There's never been a comet like this one. Never had a comet act like this one. And we've had comets before. Matter of fact, the comet Y 1490 crashed and hit the Earth. Created a tsunami 700 feet high. Destroyed half of the Chinese Navy. Wiped out full islands off the coast of Australia. Are you serious? Set some of the Chinese ships on top of mountains in Australia. Also, let me just tell you this, and I want to thank Nick of New York. I want to thank Reverend Gary. I want to thank Trakia Vaughn. I want to thank a lot of people. Penny of Virginia has given me some great information. Troy of North Carolina. I just want to thank Joshua. I just want to thank all of you for some great research. James McKay, Nick of New York, John Henderson, just a lot of Sheila Clemens in Alabama, just a lot of folks, Dave Shadow. People are watching. They're seeing things developing, not only in the sun and the moon and the stars, but the typhoons on the planet, the earthquakes, and the distress of nations, and the biblical prophecies that are being revealed in these last days. Listen to this. In the last 24 hours, earthquakes. 4.8, Canada. 4.7, China. 4.7, Crescent City, California. 4.3, Iran. 4.8, Carlsberg Ridge. 4.7, Papua New Guinea. 4.6, the Fiji Islands. 4.1, Indonesia. 5.3, Papua New Guinea. 4.5, North Mariana Islands. 4.7, again, the Carlsberg Ridge. 4.6, Vanuatu. 5.1, Chile. 5.7, New Caledonia. And it just goes on. This is in the last 24 hours with the biggest typhoon, maybe the biggest storm ever on the planet's history has just hit the Philippines. And we got a comet on the way. And while all that's going on, you got Boko Haram, one of these radical Islamic Muslim groups who are going around killing people, now saying they want to break Nigeria into two parts. They want to cut the country in half so that they can implement Sharia law. What is Sharia law? Well, Sharia law means the word Sharia. First of all, Sharia law is a very oppressive, radical, extreme Muslim theology of oppression of its people. There's no question. And radical Islam believes that Christians and Jews are infidels. So Boko Haram, who's been doing most of the murdering of Christians in the nation of Nigeria, the name Boko means Western teachings, and the name Haram means, in Arabic, it's a word for forbidden. So Boko Haram is a Arabic words for Western teachings are forbidden. And that's the name of this group. And that's why Christians are being murdered. And this is something you can't get. A penny of Virginia, thank you for this report. It just keeps happening, folks. It just keeps happening. But in California, let me go back there. In California, there's been these, as you just heard the man from NBC News say, there was a major fireball across the sky. They could very visible, and there's on video. I saw the video of it. Very visible. It just keeps happening because the Bible told us in the last days it would. Matter of fact, fire and brimstone is going to fall on the earth from heaven. That is prophesied in the Bible. And it's going to come from meteorites and asteroids. And that's why men's hearts are going to fail them for fear of things coming upon the earth. The Bible says this. Listen to this. If you go to Revelation chapter 8, just go ahead and read what God said was going to happen. He said in verse 5, he said, and the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar in heaven and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And 7 angels, which had the 7 trumpets, prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees burned up, and all the green grass burned up. And the second angel sounded, and there was a great mountain, an asteroid, burning with fire, was cast into the sea. It's a comet maybe, just like the comet Y1490. And the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea that had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed. Are you listening? And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from the heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers and the fountains of waters. And the name of this star was Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. I'm telling you, it is telling you right now that we're seeing biblical signs. And men's hearts, instead of repenting, instead of people coming to Christ, many people are blaspheming God. Atheism's on the rise. Hatred of Christians and Jews have never hit this high a level. Persecution of Christians is just getting worse. It's not getting better. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? What? Are you serious? Please give your life to Jesus Christ. Don't miss today's show. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. 12 noon Eastern, from 12 to 3. My website, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. Watch it live like I am right here. Get in the chat room and participate. Listen to it on Blog Talk Radio. Watch it at livestream.com. Call your cell phone if you're not home and listen to it live by calling the number 347-324-5208. 347. Don't be like my dog and sit over here sleeping and snoring. That's my dog's back here snoring. That's why a lot of Christians, Christians are snoring too, but a lot of people in the world are snoring. They're asleep. They're spiritually asleep. What?